In life and sports, there are individuals that will never be happy with their places in life. No amount of success is fulfilling. They will always analyze their situations and will have difficulty finding joy in their current situation, leading to bad decisions that puts a tarnish on their legacies, leading to an endless cycle of underachieving in a situation that they ultimately put themselves in. If you could think of an NBA player that fits these criteria, you would probably think of a player like Kevin Durant, James Harden, and maybe even Kyrie Irving. There are many players in NBA history that fits this criteria, but I will be discussing these three individuals in this video. Some players are finding some success, while some players are struggling to live with their decision to jump ship. Be sure to like or dislike the video and comment a player that fits in the same criteria as the players mentioned in the video. Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is one of the most gifted offensive talents to ever play the game of basketball. His artistry on the court is something we have only seen matched by players like Allen Iverson. But just like anyone, Kyrie's legacy is not stain-free. He was a bright spot for the Cleveland Cavaliers, ultimately being one of the main reasons why LeBron made a return to the team in the 2014-2015 season. During Kyrie Irving's 6 seasons in Cleveland, he averaged 21.6 points, 5.5 assists, all while shooting an impressive 46% from the field. He also made 4 All-Star games and was an All-NBA guard in 2015. The Cavs made 3 consecutive NBA Finals and won the 2016 NBA Finals over the winningest regular season team in NBA history, the 73-9 Golden State Warriors. But with all that success, it wasn't enough for Kyrie. He wanted to be the main man and lead a team of his own, other than being considered a sidekick to the great LeBron James. This led Kyrie to depart Cleveland for the Boston Celtics in 2017, leaving many basketball fans scratching their heads as to why he would leave a for sure perennial contender for an unproven Boston Celtics team. Kyrie Irving's time in Boston was brief, as he only stayed there for 2 seasons with them, not eclipsing playing in more than 67 games in both seasons due to injury trouble. His time in Boston was strange due to promises of him not leaving Boston.
Organization and everyone else in Boston, if you guys will have me back, I plan on re-signing here next year.
Boom!
Then, in literally the next offseason, leaving Boston for division rival Brooklyn Nets. Kyrie believes that the city of Boston hated him due to Kyrie ruining the chemistry of the young core that Boston had after reaching the conference finals in the previous season of 2017-2018. The move to Brooklyn would then prove to be a terrible move as well, as Kyrie would ironically end up with 2 other superstars who are both featured in this video. After losing due to KD's big toe in 2021 and being knocked out in the first round of the playoffs in 2022 by the Boston Celtics, Kyrie would request to be traded to the Dallas Mavericks, teaming up with top NBA player Luka Doncic. This move has proven to put Kyrie in a good position. His game complements Luka's game well, and he is also appearing to enjoy playing the game again. I cannot say with confidence that Kyrie will ever make an NBA Finals again with so many tough teams in the Western Conference, but it is refreshing to see that he found his love for the game again. But given Kyrie's path, do you think he will stay in Cleveland? Only Kyrie can answer that question. James Harden. James Harden had a stretch in Houston that was the best stretch I've seen from a player since Kobe Bryant in the mid-2000s. The city of Houston belonged to Harden, and he was the sole reason for why Houston was so successful from 2012 to 2020. James Harden was an all-star every year with the Houston Rockets, a scoring champion 3 consecutive seasons, and 1 league MVP in 2018. But after all those successful years in Houston, Harden made a push to leave the city of Houston for greener pastures. After several failed attempts of putting a roster together capable of dethroning the Golden State Warriors, James Harden publicly criticized the Rockets organization and made it clear that he did not want to be a part of a losing roster. After little feedback from the Rockets organization, Harden then proceeded to appear that he was out of shape. Once making his return to the Rockets, James Harden's wish was granted. He was traded to the Brooklyn Nets to be reunited with former OKC teammate Kevin Durant and get a chance to share the court with fellow talented guard Kyrie Irving. James Harden had great seasons in Brooklyn and earned 2 more All-Star appearances being a member of the Nets. But being James Harden, drama found its way into the season, due to Kyrie Irving's stand against getting vaccinated. Kyrie was not able to play home games due to New York's strict policy against the spread of the virus. Harden and some Nets teammates looked at Kyrie Irving as selfish, and that was one of the key factors that pushed James Harden to ask for a trade from the Brooklyn Nets. In the grand scheme, this is the first of multiple failures that Harden had after forcing himself to a better situation. And after getting traded to the Philadelphia 76ers, his time between the Thunder, Rockets, and Nets left him ringless. Harden's time in Philadelphia, just like his last stop, was successful but brief. Harden led the league in assists in the 2022-2023 NBA season, playing alongside NBA MVP Joel Embiid. But again in the playoffs, Harden found little success when the lights were its brightest. In Game 7 against the Boston Celtics, James Harden had a measly 9 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists. They lost to the Boston Celtics, who advanced to the conference finals soon after. This left Harden in a situation where he was again unfulfilled and dissatisfied with his situation. After failed contract negotiations with the 76ers organization, James Harden made his frustrations clear by stating that Daryl Morey is a liar, to assist in driving a wedge between himself and the organization. The 76ers, like the previous teams, granted James Harden's wish and traded him to the team that he wanted to play with.
I am a system. You know what I mean? So
the LA Clippers took a gamble by adding James Harden to an already talented roster featuring Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and Russell Westbrook. Initially, this trade looked like a bad move, with the LA Clippers going 0-6 in Harden's first games with the team. But they soon turned it around to be a force in the Western Conference and become contenders yet again. James Harden's reputation led to a lot of scrutiny over the initial trade, and only time will tell if this is his best opportunity to win an NBA championship. The next player mentioned plans backfired, as he was also teammates with both Kyrie Irving and James Harden. Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is the last player that I'm going to cover in this video, as he is probably the most important figurehead whenever it comes to being dissatisfied with his situations. Kevin Durant is arguably the most gifted athlete in pro sports. He is essentially a 7-foot guard with an unstoppable jump shot that he could get over literally anybody. Even Kobe Bryant mentioned that Kevin Durant is the only player that he was not able to figure out prior to his retirement due to his ability to do anything offensively on the basketball court. Kevin Durant's basketball resume is quite impressive. During his years in OKC, Durant was a 7-time NBA All-Star. He won 3 consecutive scoring titles and took home league MVP in the 2014 NBA season, while giving one of the most iconic MVP trophy recipient speeches of all time. But after multiple failed attempts at getting an NBA title, with the biggest moment coming after blowing a 3-1 lead to the 73-9 Golden State Warriors, Durant shook the entire landscape of basketball with his next decision. Kevin Durant did the most unthinkable, cowardly, disappointing thing a player of his stature could possibly do. He joined a team that beat him. In 2016, KD announced that he will be joining the Golden State Warriors. The next 2 seasons are not to be elaborated on, with a roster that featured 2-time MVP Steph Curry, Defensive Player of the Year Draymond Green, and arguably the second best shooter in the NBA of the decade, Klay Thompson. They steamrolled everyone in their way. The 2017 and 2018 NBA Finals were amongst the most boring series in league history, due to the fact that everyone knew that the Warriors would take the championship back to the Bay Area. But things got interesting in the 2018-2019 season. Kevin Durant began to feud with teammate Draymond Green, as Draymond would make statements saying that they didn't need KD. KD would also use Twitter burner accounts to defend his honor and argue with fans in attempts to protect his legacy. KD would then get criticism for nursing a calf injury, leading him to come back early and rupture his Achilles against the Toronto Raptors in the NBA Finals. These series of events forced Kevin Durant to try to rebuild his legacy by jumping ship and joining his friend Kyrie Irving and becoming Brooklyn Nets co-stars. Kevin would miss the entire 2019-2020 NBA season and most of the 2020-2021 season, nursing his Achilles back to health. Durant's time in Brooklyn would be filled in being a spectator due to injury troubles, close calls, while Durant was literally inches away from dragging his injury-depleted Nets roster to an Eastern Conference final. And just like with Harden having to deal with the antics of Kyrie Irving's protests and actions off the court that led to multiple distractions for the team, Durant would then have enough and request a trade to the Phoenix Suns to have a good shot at another championship while being the true leader of the team. The Suns will fail miserably to the Denver Nuggets that postseason, losing to the eventual champion in 6 games. Kevin Durant has allegedly been having regrets of forcing his way to Phoenix due to co-stars Bradley Beal and Devin Booker missing a substantial number of games this season. But just like the other players mentioned in this video, Kevin Durant's decision put him in a position where he is essentially unhappy. Even with 2 NBA titles, 2 finals MVPs, and 1 league MVP under his belt, most people will debate that he unfairly won those 2 titles by joining one of the most stacked rosters in NBA history, and that those titles will forever have an asterisk on his legacy. Closing remarks. Life is a gamble, and the decisions that we make will either aid in our legacy being strong or put a tarnish over the bright spots in our lives and careers. KD, Harden, and Kyrie are all generational talents. They are all extremely talented, but their egos got in the way of their will to be champions and having the ability to learn to win with the talent that was put around them. Players like Jordan, Kobe, Magic, and Bird had talent around them, and they knew how to maximize the talent on their roster and step up to the plate when it was time for the big moment, unlike KD or Harden has shown true ability to do. Some players never learn that they are best suited to be a Scottie Pippen or early 2000s Kobe Bryant and appreciate playing with one of the greatest forces in the game, like Kyrie Irving when he played with LeBron James, who is arguably the greatest player of all time. But as life will teach you, one event could break you, but in that same token, one event can change your legacy for the better. And thankfully, we have the opportunity to witness these 3 individuals take another crack at redemption.